Hello everyone, welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Mitch. Mitch is from Canada, but he lives in California in the USA. So let's see what Mitch has to say. Enjoy the interview. Good
All right.
morning, Mitch. How are you doing today?
Morning. Good. I just woke up not that long ago, so
My God, thanks so much for taking the time so early for the interview. Oh my God, on Saturday morning. That's amazing.
yeah, no, I'm actually glad we're doing this early because we have plans to go to the river today. So
Great.
to go inland and get out of this fog.
Tell me where are you from, Mitch?
So my husband and I live in Humboldt County, which is up in Northern California in the city of Eureka. And when I say north, it's really north. Like people think of San Francisco as Northern California. I think of it as more Central California. If you
I
drive about another 5 hours north of San Francisco, that's where we live.
Wow. Wow.
So we're about just over an hour south of the Oregon border. We're
And
up in the basically the middle of the redwood forest, so we got all the world's tallest trees around us. It's kind of cool.
oh my God, it's amazing. And that's the place where you were born and raised?
No, I actually am from Canada, basically from Toronto area, Southern Ontario. Born and raised there my whole life. Had no intentions of ever leaving Canada. And then 4 years ago, things just changed when we met online and began dating from afar. He was in Alaska, I was in Toronto, so we were like 3,000 miles apart.
Wow.
And then eventually we knew we wanted to be together. We were just trying to figure out how to do that. And it just made more sense at the time for me to move. He got a new job in California, so he moved there in January of 2020. And I followed in July of 2020 in the middle of the pandemic, of all things. The borders were closed. We didn't even think that I could get here, but luckily the US was letting Canadian citizens travel by air only into the US. So I kind of snuck over the border in the middle of the pandemic and moved to Northern California, and everything here was still kind of shut down. So we just used the time to like explore outside.
So your partner is from Alaska, but he lives in California as well right now.
Yeah, he took a new job here, so he moved out of Alaska.
I see. And what do you do for work, Mitch, for living?
I'm a personal trainer. I've been certified for 16 years now and started doing it part time. And then by 2010, liked it so much that I moved into it full time. And obviously, during 2020, when I was first trying to figure out how to get here, I didn't even have a job because every gym was closed. So I was
Mhm.
kind of in limbo at that point, and then moved down here and still didn't wasn't really working. I began working at a gym here in 2020. I made friends who owned a gym, and they said, "Yeah, you're welcome to use our space here." So just continued working on building a brand new business down in California. And now
I
I'm
see.
doing all right. So yeah, it's still what I do, but we also have gotten into photography. So we've sold some of our photography now because it's where we live is so photogenic. Like it just like the redwoods and everything and the ocean, the mountains, it just photographs really well. So we've started a website and we've actually made some sales selling photography, but it's very, I don't consider that a job at all. That's just like a hobby that's kind of fun that brings us a tiny little bit of income on the side.
Oh my God, when I saw your pictures in your profile, I was like, oh my God, that's a beautiful place to be. My
It's
goodness.
stunning. I think and the pictures don't even do it justice of the redwood trees. Like there's something you just need to see in person. It's just this whole crazy energy. Like, you're walking among trees that look they're as tall as skyscrapers, and they're thousands of years old. It's just and oftentimes it's very foggy here because our climate is very influenced by the Pacific Ocean and we get the cold ocean currents coming down from Alaska. So we get a ton of coastal fog here. People think California, they think it's really warm, and we're not really that warm in the summer. Um, we're pretty temperate, like we have milder winters, but we don't have hot summers, not on the coast anyways. If you go inland, sure, but where we live, like I'm rarely outside in t-shirts and shorts. Like it just doesn't happen here. But it's it's worth it for just the scenery alone. It's just so rugged here. You know, we got lots of empty shorelines and cliffs and tons of wildflowers and then crazy tall trees and mountains.
I'm glad you mentioned that. 'Cause actually, I've just learned something new because when I think about California, about San Francisco, I always think about the sun, the beach, and literally educating me right now about this
Oh
part of.
yeah, San Francisco
It's amazing to know
can be
that.
quite cold. A lot of tourists come and they have to end up buying like you'll see tourists all of a sudden they've all got the San Francisco hoodies on because they had to buy jackets or sweatshirts because they just didn't realize how cold it was going to be. And it can be very foggy in San Francisco too.
Oh wow,
And the ocean is freezing cold. Like it
wow,
is, you know, we jump in the ocean here pretty much every month of the year, but it is not warm. It is very cold.
amazing.
So,
Mitch,
yeah,
before we start our journey, William the Magic Box, would you like to tell me something interesting about yourself?
interesting about myself. Um, I'm trying to think of what could be very interesting about myself. Well, I love art, and even though I'm a personal trainer, I love to draw and paint.
Mhm.
It's what I did actually mostly through high school before I discovered, fitness because I was actually a very overweight teenager, probably borderline obese actually, and no one would know now by because I lost all the weight. But yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, a ton of weight loss. Discovered fitness and my love for it and helping other people as well. But before that was art for me. Love art, and I think that kind of carried over to the photography thing. That's why, and same with my husband. He liked art too, and so we both just kind of took to photography and loved just being in there. And he's
Amazing,
also a drawer. He can draw and paint as well. So
amazing.
it's something that I enjoy, but I don't spend enough time doing it because I've kind of I just like being outside here taking photos all the time. So I guess that's my new art.
Let's see. Amazing. Okay, so during the journey, I'm going to explore a little bit more about your arts, about your career, and also about your life overall. Okay,
Sure.
Mitch, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and to share your point of views? Ready?
Yeah, absolutely.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box. So I've got here my best. And okay, no further fun questions. I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to relax a bit before the first question. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Mitch, before we start the game, during the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about for some reason, you don't want to answer, I always can change, okay?
Okay.
Can I see your cat again? Introduce to us, who is that?
This is Kona. She's a rescue cat. She was found on the road by my oldest stepson, almost frozen to death in Idaho. Had frostbite, was starving, and so he rescued her. And then he was on a road trip through the U.S. and she came with him everywhere. And then he stopped in California and dropped her off.
Oh,
And now she's very well fed.
beautiful, very beautiful. Okay, first question for you is, if you could go back in time in one moment or memory in your life, what that would be and why?
Oh, geez, that's really easy. I would go back to probably when I was a older teenager and tell myself to invest in Amazon, invest in Google, uh, all the things that if I had known about investing at the time that I should have invested in so that I'd be set up for the rest of my life. I mean, in that sense, yes, but I also would tell myself too that because when you're a teenager, and that was when I was at my most bullied and insecure time and just did not respect or like myself, I would just tell myself that this time of your life isn't that important and the best years are ahead of you. So just hang on, man, it gets better.
And how was growing up as a gay boy back in Toronto, in Canada?
Um, I had fun. I mean, we had cold winters and hot summers, and I kind of still liked being outside. So I spent a lot of my summer vacations fishing with a few friends. So we'd get outside. My parents were introduced us to camping too at a very young age. So we always like to go camping and be outside, do outdoor things. Um, and then when I was around 11, I started learning how to downhill ski so that there was kind of something to do in the winter. I wasn't very good at it. I was not athletic at all, so it was a struggle to do certain things like that. But I enjoyed it, like I have very fond memories of Canada, and I do miss it being away from it a lot. I got back last year for the first time since I had left in 2020 to go to my sister's wedding, and it was kind of weird being back home from someplace I grew up, for so long.
See. Okay. Actually, I've been there. It's the second time, no, the first time, no, second time when I went to Canada. My best friend, he lives in Montreal, so I go every year. And yeah, the second time I visit Toronto, Niagara Falls, I explored a little bit that area. So yeah,
Okay, so
was
you probably went through the actual town that I grew up in. I grew up in Burlington, Ontario, which is
right.
between Niagara Falls and Toronto on the shores of Lake Ontario.
And I did as well like a tour. I did a tour as well to during the day. They kind of show us different places and parts, see the small town around Niagara Falls. So maybe I was around yours as well.
Montreal is beautiful. I've been there 5 or 6 times, and it's a great city,
Yeah,
except for the winter time.
I spent Christmas last year actually there. I was there for
Oh,
Christmas.
their
And
winters are long and cold.
and was lockdown, and we couldn't go anywhere. And also, it was my first time. I'm originally from Brazil, and it was the first time that I had a white Christmas, literally snowing on Christmas Day. I couldn't believe it was just like in the movies.
Oh yeah, no, it's great there.
Next question. All right, next question for you is, right, let's say now you have the attention of the president, let's say of the USA, yeah? And you can give just one advice to the president, what would you say? Just one.
To the president. Stop letting people post misinformation on social media. It's causing more division.
Good one. I love that, actually. I love that.
I believe that it's like one of the biggest reasons that there's more and more division than ever between people. And now, with the start of AI, it's only going to get worse when people start making up things and putting them on there to further their agenda and cause yet more division and hatred amongst ourselves.
See.
So I
Let's
think
say,
that's something that we need to work on.
absolutely. And let's say now that you have the attention of the Prime Minister of Canada, what would you say?
I would say the same thing, probably.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what they're going to do about it, but people need to know, like,
Next question. Let's do it, Mitch. Before the next question, tell me what you like the most about being a personal trainer. What's the biggest joy of it? And the flip side, what do you find most challenging?
okay. The biggest joy I get is just helping people feel better about their health, feel better about themselves, and just in helping to improve their quality of life and seeing those changes within that person, like I have one client who's in her 70s, and I remember her telling me during one of our sessions, she's like, I could now actually put my own luggage into the overhead bin of a plane, and I never could do that before. So it's just little wins like that, that or I can take the bag of cat litter out of my car and carry it into the house now. So I've even had someone tell me, which he pretty much made me cry, but he's just like, because of you, I no longer feel pain.
Wow.
So, it's just things like that that make the job so worth it. On the flip side, it is a very tough industry to be in. First of all, it's a very saturated market. There's personal trainers everywhere. And because you're basically working for yourself, you don't get paid holidays, you don't get time off paid, you don't get a pension plan built up. So it can be tough financially. You have to really plan for that and save and just be very busy. So yeah, I can take time off whenever I want and go on vacation whenever I want, but I don't get paid for it. So therefore I usually don't.
All right. Next question for you is, if you had only 24 hours of life, what would you do?
I would go to Hawaii and redo the wedding with my husband that we never got because the whole thing was canceled because of the pandemic. We had it planned to the last detail. Everything was paid for, and then we had to give it all up. And we got married in a courthouse in the town of Eureka with none of our family watching. Two complete strangers were our witnesses. And we still have not yet gotten to do it. It's been 3 years. We never had our wedding. We never had our honeymoon. We had a fake Zoom wedding on the day of what was supposed to be our wedding, and I was jobless, homeless because I was stuck at my parents. My apartment had been sold, and I was covered in poison ivy at the time. So if you told me that that was going to be my wedding day, I wouldn't have believed you. But yeah, I would probably do that because I would really like for it to happen. We were going to get married on the island of Kauai. On the north shore of Kauai, and then we were going to hike the Nepali coast, the Kalaloo Trail, as part of our honeymoon. I've never been to Hawaii. He's been to Hawaii. I've never been. And it was also supposed to be the first time that I met all his kids. It's kind of a crazy story, but just never happened. None of it happened. So it was very sad to have to call it all off. But in the end, we had our health and everyone had their health. And it just, it just was what it was. We still had to be grateful for what we had.
What's the biggest difference between both of you and the biggest similarity?
The biggest similarity for sure is our love for the outdoors. Our passion for being outside, camping, backpacking, fishing. We both love to fish. We have a pair of kayaks. We go out on them all the time. And even our love for art and photography. It's just we have way more similarities than we do differences. The biggest difference between us, he's probably a better communicator than me. It's very easy for him to talk about things where it isn't for me. I think I'm getting better at it, but I would say that that's probably a pretty big difference between us. But he's gotten me better at it.
Ready for another one?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Next question. Hey, Mitch from California. Next question. This question is going to be very easy. Which person do you talk to the most? But I'm sure you're going to say your husband, so I'm going to swap this question. Right. Next question is, what motivates you the most in life?
What motivates you the most in life? Honestly, just kind of just living in the moment, being grateful for each day. I don't like to look forward to things that are down the road, like big events that are happening, because I feel like there's more to life than just that. So just gratefulness, practicing gratefulness, being grateful, being in the moment, that kind of helps ground me and also just makes me appreciate each day and keep going.
Mitch, tell me what's the best part of being yourself? What do you like the most about being you?
I guess I feel like I'm pretty authentic and honest and reliable. So, and sometimes I'm funny, not all the time, but sometimes I like humor. I like using humor a lot in situations. But I don't know. I just like being me. I think I'm doing okay on this planet.
All right.
And I just enjoy the life that I have too, the life that I've built. So
okay. Lucky you. Next question. Let's do it. Next question is, what bad habits you wish you could stop?
Oh God, this is an easy one and it's kind of gross. Biting my fingernails. It's nasty, and I know it is. And sometimes I just catch myself doing it. It's been a habit of mine since childhood that I've had a very hard time shaking.
Oh. And why do you do that when you are nervous, when you feel anxious, when you are
I
when
think it's a anxious, nervous thing, yeah, that's just carried over to adulthood. I mean, thankfully, I do wash my hands a lot, so there's that, but I still know it's a disgusting habit, so.
let me see your nails, show me, let me see it closer. Oh, they're quite yeah, you've been eating.
Oh, yeah. They never look that nice.
Next question. Before the next question, as I can see, and you told me how much you appreciate living in California, the area where you live right now. But there is any challenging time or anything that you don't like about the area, about the place or the state?
Oh, absolutely. Healthcare is hard to come by here because we're very remote, so there's not a lot of specialists here. So a lot of people, when they have appointments and stuff, have to travel hours out of the county to go south, usually to the Bay Area, like Santa Rosa, San Francisco. So healthcare can be difficult here. It is very remote. There's only 3 highways coming into here, all single lane highways. So traveling here can be a little bit harder. I haven't had any friends come visit, I think for that reason, because it's just really hard to get here. So there's the remoteness to it. My mom and dad have come to visit twice now. But yeah, it's just sometimes it's a little remote, and we're prone to earthquakes because it is California. And especially where we are, we're like one of the most seismically active areas in North America. There's like 3 plates that meet together off Cape Mendocino, just to the south of us. And we've had some big ones since I moved here. And I grew up not having earthquakes. And then last year in December, in the middle of the night, we had a 6.4 magnitude earthquake hit. And I thought the house was coming off the foundations. Like I was ready to run outside naked in the middle of the night. And like it just seemed like it was like someone had grabbed the house and was slamming it up and down. It was so crazy.
Wow.
And it actually, I think 2 people died in that one. And like there were dozens of injuries, and like over 100 buildings were red tagged, like they just weren't safe to live in anymore around. So that's kind of the reality of living here too, is that you never know when the next big one could be. But we're kind of getting used to them now. Like now if we get earthquakes, like I'll feel the house shake a bit and I'm like, whatever, it wasn't that big. It's not concerning anymore.
Oh my God. Wow. Okay. Next question is, what's your funniest memory of your time at school?
Of my time at school?
Yeah.
Like elementary school, high school?
Yeah, like yeah. When you think about one of the funniest memory, or what did you like the most about your time at school?
I really liked elementary school, like way more than high school. High school, I had a hard time. Elementary school, especially the 8th grade, I really liked. I was in a very small school. Like I think in the entire school from kindergarten to grade 8, there was not even 200 students. So like my graduating grade 8 class was under 20 students, I think. So like everyone just kind of knew each other and for the most part got along. So it was just I just have a lot of fond memories of that. Especially by grade 8 when we were all a little bit older, you know, like 13, 14.
Who was your favorite teacher?
I think my 8th grade teacher comes to mind, Mrs. Percassin, because she had a very dry sense of humor. She was very funny, very witty, and we spent a large chunk of the year working on a Shakespeare play, Macbeth, which was a lot of fun. And yeah, I don't know, that was just a good year. She was a great teacher.
Okay. Next question, Mitch. Let's do it. As you said that, you know, you see yourself living there, you're not going to go back to Canada anymore, to Toronto. But what do you miss, besides your family, what do you miss the most about your city, Toronto?
Honestly, the hot weather. Because we don't get it here. and just being able to drive up north and go camping and it's nice and hot, which I guess we can do inland here, but I really do like the sun, and we don't get a lot of sun here, so I miss actual sunshine. It's just a very gray area that we live in. Lots of fog, lots of we get the marine layer that blows in, the hot air from inland pulls it in over us. So like right now, I'm looking outside, it's gray. There's no sun.
Here in London as well. London is quite famous for that.
Oh yeah, I think we've got fairly similar climates, except you guys can still get a lot hotter than us.
Okay, this one I think is gonna be quite easy. Anyway, let's see. Are you a cat or a dog person? And if you could be an animal, which one that would be and why?
It's funny, I actually used to be a dog person. My sister owned a couple of dogs and I really liked it. I still do like dogs, don't get me wrong, but I think since owning her, Kona, I've become more of a cat person. They're just so much easier to take care of. And we can go camping for 2 nights and just leave her with food and water at home and she's fine. You can't do that with a dog. There's so much more responsibility. It's way harder to look after a dog. So I think I've become more of a cat person for that reason, even though I still really like dogs. But
And if you could be an animal, which one that would be?
if I could be any animal,
Yeah.
oh, I would definitely be a bird of some sort. I would just love to be able to fly whenever I want. Like, I think that would just be amazing. Especially
Anything
like an eagle or hawk that has like the really good vision.
right. Let's say that you had the superpower of flying right now. Where would you fly? You can choose one place to fly right now. Where would you go?
I'd probably go to Hawaii. That's still very much on my radar. I'd like to go. It'll happen one of these years. I'm not sure when, but
3 questions left, Mitch. Let's do it. Next question is, what is something not many people know about you?
I was a high school teacher for a very brief period at one point. When I was finished up university, I decided I didn't want to work right away and I wanted to travel and do something fun before I just was too old to. So I moved down to the Caribbean, and that's where my mom is from. So I've got a lot of family down there, specifically on this one tiny island called Anguilla, which is just north of Saint Martin. It was under British rule for the longest time. And I moved there and lived with my uncle and delivered mail on the island. I used to drive the mail truck around to all the little villages and drop off mail. And he even helped me get a job at the high school, the local high school on the island. And I was like a part-time teacher. And I taught environmental sciences to a group of, they were Form 6. So they were like 17, 18 years old. So they were barely younger than me. I was like 23 at the time.
Wow.
I had no idea what I was doing. It was hysterical. Because I had a university degree, that was good enough for them. I had I'd never been to teacher's college or anything, so I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. But it was all right. It wasn't bad. I did it. But no one ever knows that about me.
There you go. Now the whole world knows that.
Yeah.
2 questions left. Let's do it. But before the next question, through your career as a personal trainer, before you mention about few people who, gave positive feedback about your training, about your job, but if you could pick like a moment or a situation that's through your career that you're never going to forget, that's always going to have a special place in your heart, what that would be and why?
As a trainer?
Yeah.
Okay, so I had one client, Sharon, who by the time she was done with her weight loss journey, she was at like a total of weight loss of 96 pounds. So call it almost 100 pounds. And I wanted to remind her of how much weight she lost. So I gave her 2 45-pound plates to hold, which was 90 pounds. And I made her go up and down the stairs in the back of the gym. And I was like, how does that feel? And she's like, this is impossible. And I'm like, Sharon, that's what you used to just carry around on your body. And she was just like, she couldn't believe it. And I was like, that's what you just walked around with. So imagine, so it gave her a brand new perspective. It was kind of cool.
Oh my God, I love the idea. And I'm sure personal trainers now watching this interview, they're gonna they're gonna start doing the same right now. I love it.
It's
Wow.
actually one of the things I do when someone's lost is like a substantial amount of weight. And if they're still like not 100% happy, I'll give them that weight back and be like, okay, now do things. And they're like,
I,
oh, wow, this is really hard.
you shouldn't give away this tip from you now. Everyone's gonna use it.
I'm sure I am not the only one who's thought of it.
I love that. I never thought about that. My goodness, such a good idea to,
Even 15 pounds, like if you give someone a 15-pound dumbbell and make them do things, like they'll feel it, they'll notice it. And it's like, yeah, that was just on your body and you've lost it. It's a really good idea to do with people to make
I
them
love
appreciate the work they've put in and the weight that they've lost.
I love that. My goodness, I never thought about that. Wow. When I have a personal trainer one day with me, I'm gonna for sure the first idea I'm gonna okay, in a few while, I would like to give my way back somehow just for me to see how I felt it. I love it. Next question is define yourself in a season of the year and why.
Which season do I prefer?
Yeah, define yourself. Which one you're more connected?
Oh, I'm definitely a summer person. I always have been. Because I also, I mean, between having nice summers in Canada and then going to the Caribbean to visit family, I'm just a sunshine, warm temperature, do not like winter that much. And that's the one thing I do like about here is that the winters aren't as harsh as they were in Canada. So I definitely, summer all the way, man, always. It'll always be like that for me. All my best memories are from summer. We just do more in the summertime even here. Like,
Your
you know,
birth-
we're going to the river today. We're going to go swimming and we have a little secret spot on the river with this gorgeous little beach. So we're going to head out there and get some sunshine today.
um, you were born at around summertime or not?
I was born in April, so you would think that it would be kind of nice, but historically, it usually always snowed on my birthday in Canada. So, yeah, no, it's just always been. My mom hates the winter. I think it's just in her blood, and I think I kind of took after that a little bit from her. I just don't like the cold that much. So,
And you have just one sister?
I have one sister.
One sister.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. Let's do it. But before the last question, again, you mentioned about your passion about arts, about your photography, and you said that you're already doing make some business out of your photography as well, which is amazing. So tell me, what's your best piece of photography art that you've taken?
It's actually pinned on my Instagram page at the top. It's a redwood photo, and it's me looking kind of up, and we get these conditions here that happen in the redwoods where you get coastal fog moving in, and then as the sun begins to come up above, you'll have to have blue sky above. It creates these rays of light that just come through the fog and into the forest, and it creates a spectacular light show that like you have to see it to believe it. And I just caught the right moment and took this photo looking up, and it has been my most viral photo to date. Like I think collectively it's gotten like 1 to 2 million likes between Facebook and Instagram.
Oh, wow.
And it's just been shared so much. It's the one that I've sold the most. Like it's been bought the most by people. I don't know if I'll ever take a better photo, to be honest. It was just the right time. Like it was like a moment in time that was just like the right time for me to snap a photo. And it is pinned. It's the top of my Instagram page. I pinned it up there because it is like, yeah, I think it'll probably stay there forever.
And when you took the picture and you saw for the first time, did you realize that would be that popular?
I actually didn't. I had forgotten I had taken it, and I was like scrolling through my photos, and then I just noticed it, and I was like, "Oh, that one's pretty good." Still not really thinking much about it because I thought I had a bunch of decent ones. But as soon as I posted it, it just, I don't know how people just really liked that one. So it's kind of been my go-to photo ever since. And I took that in August of 2022.
Wow.
So I'm still waiting to surpass it, but we'll see. I might get a new phone soon. I actually don't even use a camera. I use my phone's camera, and it just takes such wonderful pictures that we like to hike a lot and take photos on our adventures, and to carry around like a big camera and a tripod and all the equipment just isn't as convenient for us, whereas the phone just fits in your pocket and you can just like run around, climb things, do whatever. So we're kind of the phone photographers.
Amazing.
I don't know, maybe some people might not consider that real photography, but it works for me. So
I mean, to get 1 million likes, for sure it works well. Right. Last question is, what was the last thing that made you smile?
Probably my coffee this morning. But like genuinely, probably just being home again. We just got back from Alaska and I loved it there and had a great time. So because we were there with the 3 kids, he's got 3 kids, so I'm stepdad, and we just had a great time. But by the end of it, I was ready to come home, and just like being back in California, we had to drive 4 hours home from the airport. And we got to drive through the redwoods, and we stopped on our favorite trail to take photos. And I was just like, oh, I'm back home again. And I just felt really good about it. So it definitely brought a smile to my face.
Amazing. Very good. It's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking, okay? So, I hope you are enjoying the interview. Before we do the word association game, don't forget to give a like, don't forget to share this video, and also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Just click on the button right there. Thank you so much and enjoy the word association game. Let's start with family.
Love.
Money.
Just one word.
Yeah.
I mean, greed came to my mind, but that sounds kind of negative.
It's not right or wrong, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay, I'll just say greed then.
Okay, one word for sex.
Fun.
Life.
Death.
Love.
Eternal.
Politics.
Bullshit.
Religion.
Division.
Fear.
Anger.
Friendship.
Reliable.
Regrets.
What was regrets?
Yeah.
Regret. What's a word I can get? I mean, I don't think people should have regrets, but I'm trying to figure out how to get that down to one word.
It's okay. You can say more than one word. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, regrets. Don't have them.
Okay. Success.
Failure, because you can't succeed without failing.
That's so true. Wish.
And I'm going to say overrated, because wishes don't come true.
Okay. One word for happiness.
Happiness. Gratefulness.
One word for Canada.
Beautiful.
One word for California.
Rugged.
One word for USA.
I'm also going to say division, even though I use that for religion, because there is a lot of it right now.
All right. One word for personal trainer.
I'll just go with helpful. That was what just popped into my mind first.
And the last one now, photography. One word.
Photography. One word. Geez, one word. I'm trying to figure out how to say capturing moments in time in one word.
Okay, you already said, so absolutely fine. Right, let's pretend now I'm going to meet your lovely husband for a coffee, and I'm going to ask him, what is the most beautiful thing about Mitch, and what's something that he still needs to work on, to improve on? What he would say.
And who is this?
Your husband.
Oh. he would definitely say I need to work on communication for sure. Um, he would say that I've improved, but it's an area that I could work on more, and yeah, just communicating what I feel more.
And
And
what's
then
the most beautiful thing? What he would say?
that I'm just a very genuine person, um, that I care about his kids and love them and they love me, and that I make an effort.
See, how old are his kids?
They're 21, 19, and 14, turning 15 soon.
Wow, good. Let's play now, Mitch, in the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But okay, you can ask me a question now.
Okay, so obviously I know you've traveled a little bit, because you mentioned coming to Toronto and Canada. Where is your absolute favorite place to go? And it doesn't even have to be far away.
Okay, I love the question. And the first thing that comes to my mind, actually, I'll tell you something, Mitch. I could live in Canada easily, like Montreal. My God, I could. All the time when I go there, I just feel like, my goodness, I feel like I could make a life here. I could, be happy here. I had this feeling, not just in Montreal, but I explored a little bit Ottawa, the French part a lot as well. Even when I went to Toronto as well, when I was, going through those small towns, I was like, my God, what a beautiful country. So I could easily live in Canada. But when you ask about the question, the first thing that came to my mind is Switzerland. Yeah,
Okay.
I've been there. I've been to Zurich. I've been twice in Geneva, and all the time when I've been there, I was like, my goodness. I even the air, I think I felt like it was so different, and such a small country, and you're talking about nature and everything. I was like, my goodness, I would love to live in a place as well like that. So I think Switzerland, for the time I've been there, and I was like, wow, I could live there easily as well. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm again, I love London, I love big city, but at the same time as well, I love the nature. I love being a place where I could, camping. I think I camped in my life more in Canada than anywhere else in the world when I was there.
Yeah.
So it's something that attracts me a lot, and I can see myself in the future, between a big city and like spend a lot of time as well in a place like you live right now. I think it's amazing. Yeah, I would go for Switzerland for sure, but Canada is like the same place, like together as
Yeah.
well.
Canada would be right up there for me, just in terms of, yeah, if I had to live somewhere. I like living where I live, but if I also had to choose too, like that would be right up there at the top.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's
Just a
something
great
about
place.
there's something about Switzerland that it's just beautiful, and such a small country, and the mountains, and yeah,
Oh
I
yeah.
think
I've
I,
never been, but it looks stunning. And I think they're rated up pretty high up for like quality of life too and happiness and all
yes,
that. So they're just happy people overall.
absolutely. And when I went, the first time I went there was summertime, and I went to Geneva, and oh my God, I said, my goodness, again, the same feeling I had when I was in Canada, I had in Switzerland. I said, I can't live here. I can't picture myself living here.
Yeah.
The feeling when you go to a place and you kind of see
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the feeling when I had for both places. Yeah, so that's yeah, I'm closer to Switzerland, like more further Canada, but yeah, my best friend lives in Canada, my godson as well. So never know. I might go there to improve my French and spend the best of my time in Canada for sure. Did you have a good time?
I did. Absolutely.
Thank you so much for taking the time. Thanks so much for waking up very early. And it was a pleasure to connect with you. And, you made my day. I learned something new about this area in California. And I'm glad that we had this moment. Thank you so much. But before you go, if you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Okay. I'll just keep it short and sweet. For a positive quote, I think we have two ears and one mouth for a reason. I think it's because we should listen twice as much as we talk.
Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Regards to your husband, and you keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Take care. Enjoy your day. Take
All
care.
right, you too.
Bye.
Bye.
So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, first, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why would you like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.